In track and field, speed is everything. But sometimes, that hunger for glory leads to decisions that destroy careers, or come very close. Today we count down the top 10 sprinters whose careers were destroyed, or almost destroyed, by drugs. And number 1 will shock you. Let's get into it. At number 10 we have Briana Williams. At just 17, she tested positive for a banned diuretic at the Jamaican Championships in 2019. Jamaican sprinter Briana Williams tested positive for the banned diuretic hydrochlorothiazide, HCTZ, at the Jamaican National Championships, June 20th to 23rd. The positive result came from her A sample, with the B sample later confirming the presence of HCTZ. Williams and her legal team argued that the substance came from contaminated over-the-counter cold and flu medication, Pharma Cold and Flu, which she took to combat a high fever during the competition. She had declared this medication on her doping control form. Independent testing by NSF International Labs in Michigan confirmed traces of HCTZ in the medication, which was not listed as an active ingredient. The Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission (JADCO) held a hearing from September 23 to 25, 2019. The Independent Anti-Doping Disciplinary Panel (IADP) ruled that Williams bore no significant fault or negligence, as the substance came from tablets provided by her guardian, with no intent to cheat. She received a public reprimand but no ban, allowing her to avoid a period of ineligibility. She proved it came from contaminated cold medicine and was cleared to compete, but her reputation took an early hit. Number 9, the great Veronica Campbell-Brown. In 2013, she tested positive for a banned diuretic and was provisionally suspended. Veronica Campbell-Brown, a retired Jamaican sprinter, faced a doping controversy in 2013. She tested positive for the banned diuretic hydrochlorothiazide, HCTZ, at the Jamaica International Invitational on May 4, 2013. The substance, which can act as a masking agent for performance-enhancing drugs, was detected in both her A and B samples. Campbell-Brown was provisionally suspended by the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, JAA, pending a disciplinary review. She denied intentionally taking banned substances, claiming the diuretic was in a cream used for a leg injury, which she declared on her doping control form. On October 2, 2013, a Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association disciplinary panel ruled that the violation was not performance-enhancing and issued a public reprimand with no ban, allowing her to resume competition. The panel noted the diuretic, Lasix furosemide, was not a serious offense. However, the International Association of Athletics Federations contested this leniency and imposed a 2-year suspension in February 2014. Campbell-Brown appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, which overturned the ban on February 24, 2014, citing deplorable flaws in the sample collection process and possible environmental contamination of her urine sample. These flaws included an unsealed container, improper handling, and failure to follow international standards for partial sample testing, which could have allowed contamination by water or sweat. She was cleared to compete immediately. After a long fight, she was cleared, but the incident shadowed her stellar career. Coming in at number 8, Sha'Carri Richardson. In 2021, right after winning the U.S. Olympic trials, she tested positive for marijuana. Sha'Carri Richardson, a U.S. sprinter, faced a high-profile doping controversy in 2021 after testing positive for THC, the psychoactive compound in marijuana, at the U.S. Olympic track and field trials in Eugene, Oregon, on June 19, 2021. After winning the women's 100-meter race with a time of 10.86 seconds, qualifying her for the Tokyo Olympics, her positive test led to a 1-month suspension by the United States Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, starting June 28, 2021. This disqualified her Olympic trials results, preventing her from competing in the individual 100-meter event at the Tokyo Olympics. Although her suspension ended before the women's 4x100-meter relay, USA Track and Field did not select her for the relay team, effectively ruling her out of the 2021 Games. Richardson took responsibility for her actions, stating she used marijuana to cope with the emotional distress of learning about her biological mother's death from a reporter during the trials, which sent her into a state of emotional panic. She emphasized that her use was not performance-enhancing and occurred in Oregon, where recreational marijuana is legal. She served a 1-month ban, missing out on the Tokyo Olympics, a heartbreaking moment for her and her fans. At number 7, it's Yohan Blake. In 2009 he tested positive for the stimulant methylxanthine and served a 3-month ban. Yohan Blake, a Jamaican sprinter and the second fastest man in history for both the 100-meter, 9.69 seconds, and 200-meter, 19.26 seconds, tested positive for the stimulant 4-methyl-2-hexanamine at the 2009 Jamaican National Championships. The positive tests were confirmed after the championships in June 2009. Initially, a Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission (JADCO) disciplinary panel cleared Blake and the others, as methylhexanamine was not explicitly on the World Anti-Doping Agency (WADA) banned list at the time. However, JADCO appealed this decision, arguing the substance was structurally similar to the banned stimulant 2-aminoheptane. As a precaution, the Jamaica Amateur Athletic Association withdrew Blake and the others from the 2009 World Championships in Berlin pending the appeal. In September 2009, the appeals tribunal ruled that the substance warranted discipline, and Blake received a 3-month suspension, effective until December 14, 2009. Blake claimed he unknowingly ingested the stimulant via an energy supplement, and the panel accepted there was no intent to enhance performance, resulting in the relatively lenient penalty. Though the ban was short, it could have derailed his career at a crucial time. Number 6. Assafa Powell, once the world's fastest man. In 2013 he tested positive for oxylifrin, a banned stimulant, and served a 6-month ban. Assafa Powell, a former 100-meter world record holder, tested positive for the banned stimulant oxylifrin at the Jamaican National Championships on June 21, 2013. The positive result was confirmed by both his A and B samples, as announced by the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission (JADCO) in September 2013. Powell, along with his training partner, faced disciplinary hearings after testing positive for prohibited substances at the same event. Powell claimed he unknowingly ingested oxylifrin through a supplement called Epiphany D1, provided by his Canadian physiotherapist, which he believed was free of banned substances after researching it for 6 hours online. Independent tests by 2 private laboratories, confirmed by WADA and USADA, found oxylifrin in Epiphany D1, despite it not being listed as an ingredient. The ban was a bitter moment for one of Jamaica's most beloved athletes. At number 5, Tyson Gay, the former U.S. record holder. In 2013 he tested positive for anabolic steroids and served a 1-year ban. Tyson Gay, an American sprinter and the joint second fastest man in the 100-meter, 9.69 seconds, tied with Yohan Blake, tested positive for a banned anabolic steroid in 2013. The United States Anti-Doping Agency (USADA) reported that Gay failed 3 drug tests. 1 in-competition test at the USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships on June 23, 2013, and 2 out-of-competition tests, including one on May 16, 2013. The substance was identified as a steroid or steroid precursor, believed to be testosterone or DHA, dehydroepiandrosterone, found in a cream provided by Atlanta chiropractor and anti-aging specialist Clayton Gibson III. Both banned substances. Gay claimed he was misled by Gibson, who assured him the cream was all natural and had been used by NFL players who passed drug tests. On May 2, 2014, USADA issued Gay a 1-year suspension, backdated to June 23, 2013, rather than the standard 2-year ban, due to his substantial assistance in cooperating with investigators, including providing information that led to an 8-year ban for his former coach, John Drummond. Gay was disqualified from all competitive results from July 15, 2012, the date he first used the cream, and returned his silver medal from the 4x100-meter relay at the 2012 London Olympics, costing his teammates their medals as well. Number 4 is Christian Coleman, the 2019 world champion. Christian Coleman, an American sprinter and 2019 world champion in the 100 meters, faced 2 significant anti-doping controversies related to whereabouts failures, which are treated as doping violations under the World Anti-Doping Agency rules. In August 2019, Coleman was charged by the United States Anti-Doping Agency (USADA) with 3 whereabouts failures within a 12-month period, which could have led to a 2-year ban, excluding him from the 2019 World Championships and 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Another filing failure, as he failed to update his whereabouts when he accompanied his coach to a meet in Des Moines, Iowa. On October 27, 2020, the AIU banned Coleman for 2 years, until May 13, 2022, ruling his behavior was careless at best and reckless at worst, especially given his 2 prior failures. This suspension ruled him out of the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. Coleman appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, which reduced the ban to 18 months on April 16, 2021, citing a lower degree of negligence but noting he should have been on high alert after 2 strikes. The ban, backdated to May 14, 2020, ended November 13, 2021, still causing him to miss the Olympics. Coleman returned in 2022, running a season-best 9.87 seconds in the 100-meter and earning a silver in the 4x100-meter relay at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. At number 3, Marion Jones, once the queen of sprinting. Marion Jones won 5 medals at the 2000 Sydney Olympics: gold in the 100-meter, 200-meter and 4x400-meter relay, and bronze in the 4x100-meter relay and long jump, establishing herself as a global superstar. However, her career unraveled due to her involvement with Balco, a California-based company that supplied performance-enhancing drugs to athletes. A syringe containing THC, known as the Clear, was sent to the U.S. anti-doping agency USADA, triggering a wider probe. Jones denied using performance-enhancing drugs and was never banned during her competitive career, as she never failed a drug test at the time. However, her association with Balco figures raised suspicions. On October 5, 2007, Jones admitted in a New York federal court to lying to federal investigators about her use of performance-enhancing drugs and her involvement in a check fraud scheme. She confessed to using THC from 1999 to 2001, supplied by Graham, starting before the 2000 Olympics. Jones claimed she was told it was flaxseed oil, a legal supplement, but later realized it was a banned substance. She pleaded guilty to 2 counts of making false statements, one related to doping and another to a financial fraud case involving Montgomery. As a result, she was sentenced to 6 months in prison in January 2008, serving time from March to September 2008, and ordered to perform 400 hours of community service. Following her admission, the International Olympic Committee (IOC) stripped Jones of all 5 Sydney 2000 medals on December 12, 2007, and disqualified her results from September 1, 2000 onward. Number 2 goes to Justin Gatlin. Justin Gatlin, a retired American sprinter and 2004 Olympic 100-meter champion, faced 2 doping-related suspensions during his career, making him one of the most controversial figures in track and field. In 2001, while competing as a freshman at the University of Tennessee, Gatlin tested positive for a trace amount of amphetamines at the USA Track and Field Junior Championships. The substance was linked to Adderall, a medication he had been prescribed since age 9 for attention deficit disorder, ADD. Gatlin appealed the initial 2-year ban, arguing the positive test resulted from his prescribed medication, which he had taken for academic purposes. The International Association of Athletics Federations (IAAF), now World Athletics, and the American Arbitration Association (AAA) ruled that Gatlin neither cheated nor intended to cheat, reducing the ban to 1 year. In April 2006, Gatlin tested positive for testosterone or its precursors at the Kansas Relays, a significant setback after winning Olympic 100-meter gold in 2004, 9.85 seconds, and also the 100 and 200 meters double at the 2005 World Championships. His coach, Trevor Graham, claimed Gatlin was sabotaged by massage therapist Christopher Wetstein, who allegedly applied a testosterone cream to Gatlin's buttocks without his knowledge. Wetstein denied this, stating, "Trevor Graham is not speaking on behalf of Justin Gatlin and the story about me is not true." Gatlin accepted an 8-year ban on August 22, 2006, avoiding a lifetime ban due to his cooperation with doping authorities, including recording conversations with Graham for the Balco investigation, and the exceptional circumstances of his 2001 case. In December 2007, an arbitration panel reduced the ban to 4 years, citing his cooperation and the context of his first violation, allowing him to return in August 2010. He came back to win gold in 2017, but his reputation never fully recovered. And finally, at number 1, the most infamous case of all, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, a Canadian sprinter, is infamous for one of the most notorious doping scandals in sports history, which occurred during the 1988 Seoul Olympics. At the 1988 Seoul Olympics, Ben Johnson won the men's 100-meter final on September 24, 1988, in a world record time of 9.79 seconds, defeating American rival Carl Lewis and becoming the first Canadian to win the event since 1928. However, 2 days later, on September 26, 1988, the International Olympic Committee (IOC) announced that Johnson had tested positive for stanozolol, an anabolic steroid, in his post-race urine sample. Johnson was stripped off his gold medal and world record on September 27, 1988. Carl Lewis, 9.92 seconds, was awarded gold that was taken away from Ben Johnson. Johnson returned to competition in 1991 after his ban, but his performance declined, failing to qualify for the 1992 Olympic 100-meter final. On January 17, 1993, at a meet in Montreal, he tested positive again for excessive testosterone, with a testosterone-to-epitestosterone ratio of 10.3 to 1, exceeding the International Amateur Athletic Federation's limit of 6 to 1. The International Amateur Athletic Federation issued a lifetime ban in March 1993, as this was his second doping offense. Johnson appealed, claiming procedural errors, but the ban was upheld. He briefly attempted a comeback in 1999 after Canada lifted his ban for domestic competitions, but the International Amateur Athletic Federation barred him from international events, effectively ending his career. He served a 2-year ban, then tested positive again in 1993 and was banned for life. Johnson's scandal is still the biggest doping shock in track and field history. These 10 athletes remind us that the price of greatness is high, but cheating can cost even more. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next big story from the track. See you in the next video.